Because a lot of conflicts, especially sibling conflicts, would emerge when they just had opposite sensory needs. So one of my kids is more sensory seeking and hyperactive and ADHD-dominant. One is more autistic-dominant. So if one of my children is physically stimming or needing to move, and that's activating the auditory sensitivities of my other child, then instead of it escalating into a fight, kind of capturing that there's some competing sensory needs here, let's pause and sort out what needs to happen. Does this child need to scoot their body so they're not in the visual field of the other one? Do we just need to be done watching the show together? And then also with me and the children, right? Because sometimes we'll have clashing sensory needs, and I can name that in a way where it's not, it depersonalizes it, because this is the problem. It's external to you or me, and now we can come together to be problem solvers of this problem we're having, because we just have different needs here. It's not that you're good and I'm bad, or you're annoying and I'm too sensitive. It's just...
So how do we deal with this extra mental load as a neurodivergent parent? There's so many things that we have to remember for our kids.
Oh, I love that question of mental load. And that is interesting. That's part of the invisible. So in two-parent families, that's part of the invisible labor that often it's one of the parents' load is often holding that. And that often doesn't get appreciated enough or talked about enough when there's negotiation around domestic tasks and so forth. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I've got a lot of good strategies on that. I feel like for me, it's been a lot of trial and error of when it's gone really badly. Part of how I move through my emotions of that is I do a lot of analysis and mapping out, where did that go wrong? What could I have done differently? At what point? This is what I'll do moving forward. And for me, my brain's really associative, so it's like a memory. I hold it as a memory of like, okay, last time this happened, this is what was needed, versus a list. I think a list, my brain would have a harder time holding that. I will also share, and this is, I think, part of why I can actually sometimes get uncomfortable around parent conversations, but I feel like it's a really important thing to name. I have a lot of parental privilege. That's not really a word we use, but in the sense that I'm married to someone who has incredible executive functioning, and I sometimes joke, like, the best accommodation I have is marrying a neurotypical. And so, if I'm being honest, he does a lot of the mental load. And I honestly don't know how a lot of autistic moms do it, in the sense that I know there's so much privilege in that. There's so much I offload because he does mentally hold a lot of the things for the kids.